Georgie and Mandy's first marriage cast on the Big Bang Theory legacy. It had been years since the gang at Colfax had last gathered around in apartment 4A, debating quantum physics, comic book lore, and the intricacies of social interaction. But time had marched forward, and now a new generation was stepping into the limelight. The Big Bang Theory legacy had arrived, a revival of the beloved show, focusing on the next chapter of these characters' lives. And among those stepping into the spotlight, none other than Georgie Cooper and Mandy McAllister. Georgie, Sheldon Cooper's rough around the edges, but surprisingly business-savvy older brother, had lived quite the journey since his days in Texas. He had built a tire empire, raised a daughter with Mandy, and now, in this new era, he and Mandy were about to make waves in Pasadena. But how did their first marriage play into the Big Bang Theory legacy? That was the twist that had fans buzzing. A blast from the past. The show's first big reveal was simple but juicy. Georgie and Mandy had already been married once before. Though their eventual marriage and family life had been hinted at in young Sheldon, the Big Bang Theory legacy revealed that their first attempt at marriage had not exactly been smooth sailing. The flashback episode, titled The One That Almost Was, transported viewers to the chaotic early 2000s. It showed a younger Georgie, now played by a well-cast new actor resembling Montana Jordan, and Mandy, played by a spunky, witty newcomer, navigating their first attempt at wedded bliss. They had eloped in a hasty Vegas wedding. Georgie, ever the impulsive one, had convinced Mandy that they should just go for it. The chapel was decorated with neon lights and a suspiciously familiar Elvis impersonator who bore a striking resemblance to Howard Wolowitz's cousin. "You sure about this, Georgie?" Mandy had asked, looking at their marriage license with wide eyes. "Of course I am." Georgie had grinned, his southern charm turned up to full volume. "Mandy, we already got the kid. We already live together. What's a little legal paperwork, huh?" Mandy, against her better judgment, had agreed. But as soon as they had returned home, reality had set in. A Cooper-McAllister clash. Their marriage had lasted exactly 11 months and 17 days before it crumbled under the weight of their youthful missteps. For one, Georgie was still trying to expand his tire business, spending long hours at work and making risky financial moves that sometimes backfired. Mandy, on the other hand, had dreams beyond Texas. She wanted to explore career options, maybe even move to a bigger city. Their biggest fight? When Mandy had secretly applied for a job in California and Georgie had found out through Sheldon of all people. She was looking at jobs in Pasadena, Sheldon had said matter-of-factly over dinner. Fascinating, isn't it? She does know that there are no notable tire empires here, correct? Georgie had nearly choked on his sweet tea. From there, things had spiraled. "You just gonna leave, huh?" Georgie had confronted her that night. "Take our daughter and start over somewhere new." "I didn't say I was going, Georgie, I was just looking." "But you weren't even gonna tell me." The argument had been long, painful, and ended with Mandy moving out for a few weeks to stay with her parents. They had tried counseling. They had tried date nights. They had tried everything their young selves could think of. But in the end, they had split amicably, if with a little heartbreak. Full circle in Pasadena. Now, the Big Bang Theory legacy had brought them back together. After years apart, Georgie and Mandy had eventually found their way back to each other. The audience learned that they had remarried, this time with wisdom, patience, and the lessons they had gained from their failed first marriage. The real twist? They were now moving to Pasadena, where Georgie had recently invested in a new business venture because of course he had. Mandy, who had once considered California a far-off dream, was now embracing it fully. Their daughter, a teenager now, was even considering a future in science, a fact that Sheldon took great interest in. Remarkable, Sheldon had mused in one episode, watching as Georgie's daughter debated a math problem with Penny and Leonard's son. It would seem that despite your genetic contributions, Georgie, your offspring has an aptitude for numbers. Perhaps nature truly does defy nurture. Georgie had rolled his eyes. You know, Shelley, I do run a business that requires math. Yes, but basic arithmetic hardly qualifies as. Don't finish that sentence, brother, Georgie had warned, earning a laugh from the audience. Mandy and Georgie 2.0. What made their return so satisfying was that it was clear they had grown. Mandy was no longer the frustrated young mother struggling to figure out her path. She was confident, accomplished, and deeply in love with Georgie, this time with a foundation that wouldn't crack. Georgie, once reckless with money and ambition, had matured into a responsible businessman and devoted father. He still had his charm, still had his humor, but he was now the kind of man Mandy could trust without hesitation. And as they settled into their new Pasadena life, fans could see something beautiful. Love, given a second chance, could truly flourish. Their first marriage might have been a false start, but in the Big Bang Theory legacy, they were exactly where they were meant to be. This take on Georgie and Mandy's journey adds depth to their relationship while tying it beautifully into the Big Bang Theory universe. It also allows for crossovers with Sheldon, Penny, Leonard, and the rest, blending nostalgia with new storylines. Would you tune in to the Big Bang Theory legacy to see how it all unfolds?